Hello YouTube friends, welcome to the Red Parrot channel. I am your host, Mary Ellen. Thank you for joining me, which is right now for me this evening. I am in my jammies. We are going to do some chatting and what I would call roundup. The mudlarkers at the end of their mudlark will come back to their home studio and they will go through what they have found in further detail. And I would like to do that, or at least create that spirit and talk about some jelly printing that I have been doing. And I might also do sort of a first test drive on what I think is a process chart for this. And I'm feeling confident because I reached for a Sharpie, and I should probably reach for a pencil, but then I put the pencil down again and I pick up the Sharpie because you'll probably be able to read that better. So what do I think is the process for this? Step one is I do some setup. Next thing I do is pour paint. Apply stencils, masks, texture, then we ask a question, satisfied, if yes, then we deem page finished, and if no, we go and we do this all over again. This is a big question for me. I have no idea what I am doing in this particular piece. So maybe as I get better at this and I do more of these roundups, we will be able to clarify what that is. There's a whole lot of magic that is happening here. I have seen a whole bunch of people who are doing jelly printing, and they seem to be quite clear on what they are doing here, and it looks like a bunch of magic to me. So that's what I am envisioning as a way of thinking about the whole process of junk journaling, individual pieces, and so on and so forth. So I'm hoping by the end, or at some point in the future, I will have a bunch of these which are explaining what the steps are that you can either choose to do or choose not to do. Just maybe I am the only person who understands what I'm talking about, and won't be the first time. So I will set this aside, and I think I am clear at least on where my problem is, which is all this stuff between setup and am I satisfied with the final piece. So we have count them, two batches of, I'm going to keep this aside just so that I can make some notes. Batches of jelly printing, and this is the first batch, and the second batch is over to the side, which we'll get to when we finish this pile, and it was inspired by Kirsten at Quirky Queens Journals, maybe? Anyway, she showed a really interesting masking technique that I tried out to interesting results. So first piece is just a piece of list paper, 4 pieces of list paper, roll off, and pull off. No plans whatsoever except to do some clearing. So So maybe I will put over here, make a list on, oh, it goes all the way through. There is just a roll off and plate pull off. This one was, what was this? This was me rolling off, putting on this light green. And then putting, I have wood blocks from the dollar store that I placed on top. Pulled them off and then put a combination of paint. I think there's green, black, and there is a really watery silver that I have that is really inexpensive but creates really interesting effects. And then that is what I pulled. So this would be, what would we call this? Print with like a stencil, maybe? Or a block. That's A, and then B is then pull off with the second coat. Okay. This one is green paper, and I am cleaning, I think. Am I cleaning? Yes, I think I'm cleaning, because one of the things that I don't do particularly well is have the right amount of paint. I either have a so thin layer that there is no paint at all, or I have so much paint that I could probably pull about 3 pieces of paper on the same batch without doing anything. Okay, this one, don't know if you can tell, but this is actually the same process as this one, except the blocks are snowflakes, and they completely disappeared. But I do like the result nonetheless. It does look kind of funky. This is me creating a base layer. So that's another thing that we do, is create base layers. Kari the crafter does this a lot, and I've saw Kirsten do that a couple of times as well. You just create an additional layer of color on the paper to then do other things with. So that's not even a done thing. Oh yeah, okay, so this, is there a series? There should be a series. There's another one, there's another one, there's another one. Yeah, so, oh, there we are. So I have a, I wonder if I can get it. Be right back. Okay, I am right back. So these are the wood print block things that I was talking about. So this was the leaf that I used, and these are the snowflakes that I used. I got these at Canadian Tire. They are Christmas decorations, but I thought they would be great wood blocks. This is a decoration from the dollar store, and this is also from the dollar store. I think you're supposed to pop these out, but I'm hoping that over time that the paint is going to accumulate and just sort of freeze everything together. So this is an entire alphabet. Two pages of this, and then the page of numbers, and of course we're doing this math journal, and so I am obsessed by numbers at the moment. So what I did was I put an initial layer down, popped this over, used a piece of cardboard on top of this so that I could smoosh it around and sort of allow the paint to collect on this. Then took this off, let it dry, and then rolled on some other paint. This, total disaster. This really poor color choice, which is a number 2 over on here. Instead of also including having the right amount of paint, you need to have the right amount of contrast. And you also have to wait till the paint dries. So, close, getting to what I want. Super proud that I was able to put this on upside down so that when the print came out, the numbers came out. This, I figured out, oh, I need some contrast. This turned out much better. You can see the numbers, and I would be able to cut out some of those numbers or even just use them as background on a collage. Another test of the same thing, same colors. Then you can sort of see that this is a much darker layer than this one. But they're both kind of fun. And then this one was probably the best, the highest contrast, so I can read them the best. But I have a whole bunch of splotches up here, which I'm not super thrilled about, and a blotch down here, but what can you do? This, 3 layers, because you can see I did numbers, still trying to pull some stuff off. And this is me, I created a personalized stamp pad that has a label size. Be right back, I'll get that one too. So I have this, which is just that light foam core that you have for kids' craft projects. I've got a sheet of it and then cut them out into shapes and then stuck it on a cardboard. So this is my template, and you can see how that matches that. That matches that. I don't know how this thing works upside down and backwards. That's another problem that we have with this. But anyways, this is that template. So, not a complete fail, I guess. I would be able to cut those out and then have a blank tag, which is something. Did I do that one already, or is this just another version? Oh, it's another version of the same thing. So I am creating, like this color apparently. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of pretty. So this, I think, would be considered a not done, or put into a not done pile. That's what I think Gail Augustinelli calls these sort of initial things, the not done pile. I'm gonna have a sip of my tea. I am tonight drinking black tea and caramel. Sort of a pre-Christmas shot of caffeine. So this would be another setup. And so what I do to create this effect is I have a clean jelly plate and I put in kind of blobs of whatever colors and then just sort of lightly brayer them sort of back and forth, but not so hard that the colors mix, but that it gets covered so I can see the original colors as well as places where they blended. So that's that. Same thing, and you can sort of see that the yellow is the first color that I put down and then red on top. Clearly trying to get some color Christmas ways going here, like that. This would have been a second pull from, is it in here? Can always hope. No, but I feel like this was the second pull of something. It might be in my other pile. Accidentally misfiled. This is me just creating blue, I guess, and maybe trying to clean. Another thing that I do is I press unevenly on the brayer so that I basically sort of wheel out on one side and I create these lines, which I don't mean to do, which means for a sort of a lighter brayer touch, pressure. This is just another color. Some roll-offs and just a book page. And these I seem to be able to do with some success because it requires no thought. That makes me laugh. And same with this one. It works just well because that's all you're doing. You will remember the crisis that I've had with this. These are marbling that I did with the shaving cream. So you get a bin, like an 8x10 or whatever, you fill it with shaving cream and then you drizzle on top acrylic paint, and then you do basically swirling with combs or a stick or whatever. You mix the colors around and then you place a piece of paper on top of it. You sort of pat, 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 and then you peel it off. And then with a card or another kind of scraper, you just scrape off the shaving cream and what remains is the acrylic. I did not like this at all because the smell of the shaving cream was so persistent. I put these outside and it was pouring rain for about 3 days and this paper got soaked. Good news on two fronts. The paper is still intact and also the smell is gone. So I think part of my problem with that method was that I didn't wash the paper. Like wash the cream out of the paper before I set it aside to dry. So I am willing to give this a retry. Watch this space for the retry. And here is just another version of it. And then this piece, I am ridiculously happy with. This is an example of 4 colors. There is a silver, a black, this blue, and then there is kind of a brassy, it's probably called something fancy, but it's like a brass color. And that is a beautiful colorway. This would be what I would want, a piece of this I would want to cut up and put in a color journal for me with the colors listed so that I understand, oh, if I'm going to do a combination of this and that, these would create a really pleasing look. Kind of like a dye book if you're a dyer. One of the things that we need to do over here is create a color journal. Whoops. Here we are. Okay, so that's that batch done. So then, sometime later, I went back, because who doesn't like a good time? And I'm going to go through this kind of in stages so you can understand how I got to where I did. So this is all Kirsty's, me copying her and what she did on her channel. And she has some wildly beautiful images that she created that are unique to her. They are unique. She created her own masks. She created her own designs. She was able to use them as pieces to create, pardon me, people and plants and all kinds of whatnot. I don't have any black mylar, but I do have, if you recall, a couple of thrifties back, I was able to buy a bunch of overheads. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is an overhead sheet. If you have a permanent Sharpie, you then can see. Because you can see through, you could theoretically take this and then sort of do the outline. I'm just going to do this one bit here. And then you would have something that you would be able to cut out. So essentially that is my method for being able to create a couple of them. I didn't figure this out until I did it wrong a bunch of times, which is essentially how learning works. So that's my method. I will now show you my little treasure trove of masks. Look at my little masks, they're all schmutzy. So there is another person, and I'll have to put the link in the description because of course I am not prepared with the name on top of my head, who was doing, I don't think she's a junk journaler, I think she's an art journaler, or she's an artist first and a journaler second. And what she was doing was creating intense watercolor backgrounds to then create fringes, like, you know, like lace ideas. So that's why I have this kind of zigzag, and you know, you'd be able to set that up like this, or hang on, flip it over this way, set it up like that, and you could have your own customized pieces of lace. So I've got those pieces. You can't really see this well, and I realized early on that you absolutely need to create this so you can see the thing on your first pass, because for a while there I had a pile of this and I couldn't see anything, couldn't figure it out. So what else do we have here? Here's another, this is the offcut of that. I created frames. I created bits. Those are those. Another blank bit. Who doesn't like a circle? That's got another frame. And this, which I used once but didn't do a lot of, and all those other bits are just other bits that I never got around to using. And once again, because we are doing this math journal and I am in deep search of numbers, I created numbers. So there's a 3, this 5. This 5 looks really good because I used the method of taking this, placing it over an advertisement that had 50% off, and then just traced out the 5 and then cut it out. And so that turned out really, really well. And then technically speaking, you can do a mask inside a frame, and the 5 goes in here. 5 goes in here, and then the 7 would go in there, and then you would, technically speaking, be able to pull off numbers within frames. Funny story, the 3 was one of the items that I had originally cut out and then completely lost. I couldn't find it for love nor money, which is really a statement about how untidy my paint area is. It's a part in my kitchen that is way off to the one side, and it's got paint and stuff everywhere. And I only ever found it at the very end of the Gelli session. And I have another story later on when we get to it about losing these crazy little templates. So anyways, those are my templates that I used. It's a wildly good idea. I'm so excited. I have so many more ideas. Now let's see what grief we wrought. I have 2 stacks. I have a stack of roll off, peel off, and then, oops, oh dear, now we're dropping stuff. Let's do it face down for Grinses, because I think this is the top, or at least the ones that I did first. And it'll be a surprise to you and me. Okay, this is the first one. Yay us. Please note, this circle, it features later on in the story. Got a 7 out of it. And this is the first lace trim. Didn't work all out well, but the frames worked, I think, pretty well. And if nothing else, this can be a good collage fodder. Okay, this is another one. I did this on an angle. So when I was picking up these frames, I had a wooden skewer, and I just sort of put my finger down and then use the tip of the wooden skewer very gently, because you don't want to stab the jelly, but just to flick this up and then be able to take it off. These on the diagonal hung over the edge of the jelly plate, and were much easier to pull off. So highly recommend that. No idea what's going on. I probably completely overdid the pink and the blue, and it was probably just a hot mess. However, I did get that 57, which super happy about that. So that's a bit that worked. Okay, this is when I got the 5 cut out. This, nothing wrong with that to just cut that out. Oh, found it. So I did not understand that that had been stuck. And after I did this jelly plate, I could not find this piece anywhere. I didn't think it had been stuck. I looked everywhere. I looked everywhere except for here on the actual page, but I am pleased that I found it. Spent about 20 minutes looking for that. Anyways, peeled off, so you can see here the 5 and the 7 have got really nice frames. You could certainly, I think, Kirsty colors hers in with pencil crayons, which I think is a great idea. You could watercolor it, you could use Posca pens, paint pens, you could just further cut it out again and make a window if you wanted. I kind of like my Charlie Brown stripe. There. Christmas. Christmas. Okay, my 7 didn't turn out very well, but my 5 is okay. Thought at this point was this would be a really fun advent calendar day 5 label tag. Of course, I wasn't in the place to be able to do 25 of them, and I might just do that for day 5. But then I also have this circle one for day 5, which also I like even better, I think. I don't know, the 5 just fits so well in that circle. Next one, a peel off, but there's a 3. Yay us. Once I found it. Seriously. Another 5 and a 7. No contrast, so this did not work very well at all. And you could use, you know, you could even use this black pen to just do the outline and spruce it up a bit. Kind of a violent, icky colorway. Oh, yes, okay. Now I'm sort of anticipating what we're going to be doing. Vague 3 there. So I was probably still trying clean up, peel off number 1, peel off number 2. Also an early pull. Very light. I was sort of, I was so cautious. First time I do it, it's all very gentle. It's very tentative. And then it's like, woo, let's throw all the paint on. Let's go bananas. Oh my stars. That's just funny to me. Oh, and here's our infamous 3 again. And that wants very badly to be a 7, and there's the 5, and there's a Charlie Brown stripe. Also a Christmas colorway. So I was trying to get a little bit of Christmas. And then, okay, some more. Do these next. Trying to do all the groupings. These were just me pulling off edges and so on and so forth. Not opposed. Not bad. Okay, so this thrilled me like nobody's business. That's the way that goes. So on the first, you put the color down, you put the mask down, and then you remove the paint around the mask. This is the page that is removing the paint from the mask. And golly, this turned out great. This thrills me. I wish I had been able to place that just a scooch this way so that you could get a line, but it would disappear if you did that as an outline. I've got a label there, and if I stuck that together, I would have a label there. I've got some trims here and a Charlie Brown. This was just thrilling to me to pull this off. This is, I think, another roll-off sheet. Not really great. I think I stuck too much paint. I stuck it to something. More roll-off, and this was from a project even more in the past than this one. You can sort of see I was pulling some things off. And then these are probably all the peel-off pages. Like that S1e. Another tag, some Charlie Brown edging. That's the stick. That's probably just a roll off, and then this one has got some tags to it. Oh, that one's nice. I like that one. That's just really funky. I like that a lot. And then kind of a 007, but not really. And that's just that's a picture. So that is what I would call the end of my jelly printing roundup. And as important as a roundup is being able to think about the process that I used and talk about and record down for posterity and for thinking about it later, some other things that we may want to keep in mind. So thanks so much for keeping me company tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more episodes, and we will see you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye now.